Hi, I am Layla Matson. Welcome to the Secret Lives of Warren's Ex-Wives. I am wife number 23. I was married to Warren Jeffs when I was 17 years old, and he was 28 years older than me. I will tell you a little bit of my before story to lead up to the details of things that I experienced with Warren Jeffs that really have brought me to today, and that have led to my decision to leave the church, that led to life and today, and to being the best version of myself today. So I will start with my heritage. My mother and Warren Jeff's father are first cousins. Rulon Jeff's mother and my grandpa were brother and sister. And so I am the second cousin to Warren Jeffs on his father's side. So when I was 14, a lot of things started to change with the church. Girls started to get married younger and younger. And when I was 16 and 17, then girls started to get married in hiding, because Utah passed a law that you cannot marry a man older than 10 years older than you. So there was like this, you had to be quiet, you had to be private, you couldn't tell your family, you had to be so secret, and you couldn't even let people know that you were getting in to see the first counselor, who was Warren, to turn yourself in to the priesthood, to like let the prophet know that you were ready. And yes, that's a thing. The fathers would take their daughters and turn them in and tell the prophet, she's yours and she's ready to be placed in marriage. And so I feel like that my story started when I was 14. Warren Jeffs moved to Colorado City, or rather Hilldale, Utah. And when I was 15, then I went to some high school classes. And one of the classes that I went to was called morning class. And it was like a morning seminary devotional. And me, my sister, a younger sister, and a younger brother all were going to these morning classes, and they happened to be held in the top floor of Warren's house. So we would walk through his house to go to these morning classes every morning. And one morning I knew I was like running a little bit late. Like, I was so worried. I needed to be in my seat before Warren got there, because if he didn't, it was just so embarrassing. And I never felt like attracted to him at all. Like at all. He was not good looking to me. He wasn't like that. And I think it's because he was my second cousin, and it just felt kind of weird. But I never had the desire to like marry him. However, I did have very like strong feelings of love toward his father. And looking back on it, I realized that it is because I looked a great deal like my grandpa's sister, who was his grandmother. Uncle Rulon, every time he saw me, would tell me I was beautiful, that he would like acknowledge me as a person. And it was always special, and it didn't feel weird because we were family, you know. So I digress. I was going into this morning class. Warren came out of a room, which I later found out was his bedroom, which made it more awkward. And he like said, "Hurry, you're gonna be late." And he like walked past me and kind of like put his hand on the small of my back as he walked past me. And it just felt weird. Like I didn't even know where to put it. My sister was all like Twitter-pated, and like she couldn't stop talking about it. And I just felt awkward. My mom insisted that I would probably marry him. Like she would insinuate about it all the time. And I would tell my dad, I don't want to marry a man as old as you. I don't want to marry anyone old as you. And so I just, like Vicky said in her story, there were boys that you could have a crush on, but you couldn't do anything about it. If you wanted to stay in the church, if you wanted to stay faithful, if you wanted to be placed in marriage. And we were literally taught that the most precious and sacred thing for us to do was to be so obedient and so close to our fathers that our dad could turn us over to the prophet to be placed in marriage. And so that was like the ultimate thing, was to become completely submissive, completely pure of any desires for anyone or anything, only to do the will of the prophet. And that was so ingrained into us that that was the focus of every meeting. That was the focus of every going to church. That was the private focus. And so I feel like I'm going to stop there and kind of let you like take that in. And if there are questions so far, I'd love to answer questions. And talk next time.